I want to fight her because I think it'll be a great match, and I think it'll be a really interesting match for viewership.
You versus Gabby?
Yeah, me and Gabby.
You can have the same bet match I did with Gabby.
Yeah, I was just...
You are now listening to the El Segundo podcast with Craig Jones.
All right, we're here in Shuffle headquarters, of which I've never been to before, taking full advantage of their staff members, their podcast studio, to introduce Australia's most accomplished jiu-jitsu athlete ever, doing what I've tried for many years to do and now I've given up. Win ADCC.
I feel like I've ruined the Australian reputation. I feel like I almost did us a disservice by actually winning. I feel like now there's no going back.
And Absolute too.
Yeah, shit. Sorry.
Crazy. First year back of the Absolute, right?
Yeah, I think it was like in 2007, then it was a thing. And then they got rid of it for a while because they just decreased the amount of female divisions. And then when we added on a female division, we added on an Absolute, and now it's back.
You took it out. How much do you know about the history of the ADCC women's divisions? Because I'm like, I knew there used to be more. I knew there was an Absolute. Do you know the story?
Well, that was kind of the extent of my knowledge too. I knew that there used to be more divisions, and then there wasn't more division. There used to be an Absolute in, I think 2007 was, like, there was an Absolute then, I know that. But why they decreased it, like when it decreased, what the divisions used to be. Obviously it used to be below 60, above 60. And then they changed it for 55, 65, 65 plus. But that's about the extent that I know.
And you won the 55.
Yep.
So the lightest division and the Absolute.
Yep.
And what was your run submission-wise? Mostly submissions, right?
4 out of 6 submissions in the whole run, yeah.
That's sick, yeah.
A few arm bars and some knee locks in there.
Because the women's divisions, are they less competitive?
Yeah, so there's 8 competitors per division rather than 16 for the men. So we all up have, what, like 24 female competitors? I mean, I don't know. I didn't do the maths fast enough.
Yeah.
I think that's right. That sounds right.
Yeah, that's
8
so
times
cool.
3.
And they talk about it, that's like a permanent change now?
I assume so. I don't think it would be the smartest thing for them to go up with 3 and then go back down. I think that would just look really bad. I think they were even talking about adding a 4th.
Oh, really? Cool.
So maybe either adding a 4th or instead of 8 female competitors, there'd be 16 female competitors. So make it like the same as the men's divisions. But I don't know. I'm not too sure. Yeah,
because even the qualifying events are only one of the 2 qualifiers are eligible for a ticket, which always makes me think, like, why would you do the first one?
It's the whole thing is supposed to be like, if you win one of them, then maybe you get an invite, or, you know, if you win one of them or if you win both of them, then your seating ends up being a little bit better when you get to the event. But there's no guarantee with any of that. Like there's no guarantee you get the invite. There's no guarantee your seating's going to be good.
You just got to be good friends with the people. I know they gave me good seating positions. They gave me some good referee decisions. You know? Some good bias on it.
It helps to know people.
That's true. Kiss the right ass. But how has your life changed now you're the double gold check? Because I think it's hilarious because Gabby's never won the Absolute.
Has she actually never?
I don't think she won the ADCC.
I'd be curious to know who won in 2007. I would have no idea. We should look it up, but I have no idea who won in 2007 because there would only be like either 1 or 2 other female ADCC Absolute title holder.
Yeah, so that's sick, especially as an Aussie. But how's life different now?
All the same, to be honest. Like I was on a little bit of cloud 9, got, you know, a little bit of attention, and everybody got excited for me, and, you know, bringing it back to Australia was really fun. Everybody got excited to see the belt, but for the most part now I'm back in routine. I'm back into training. Like the only real difference is like I'm slightly more busy organizing more things. Like people are more interested in instructionals, or people are more interested in hosting me for seminars. My name has gotten out there, but the training's still the same. Everything more or less is still the same. I'm still going home and doing my dishes and my chores.
But are you rich now?
It's jiu-jitsu, man. There's no such thing as being rich and being a jiu-jitsu athlete for most of us. Especially being a female jiu-jitsu athlete, there's not much overlay of being rich and female jiu-jitsu athlete. But I don't know, maybe I'll be the first female jiu-jitsu athlete that becomes a millionaire.
Well, that's probably the highest, maybe one of the highest female jiu-jitsu paydays.
I think so.
I imagine so.
Well, it's hard to know because some females will discuss what they're getting paid and all that kind of stuff. Some females won't, depending on what their contractual obligations are, you know. But it's hard to know where the market rate is.
When I was an athlete, I was like, fucking, let's all tell each other. And now I'm a promoter, I'm like, please don't say.
Yeah, that's the problem. You get both sides of it. You're like, as a promoter, you're like, everybody needs to just shut the fuck up and sign their NDAs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Luckily, we didn't do any NDAs, but we like for CJI, was just like, for a while, we thought about paying some athletes more show money. But then when I saw Mo do that, and I realized how, like, looking at it from the outside, how bad that would be to come out. Like, no one in either of the brackets got more than 10,001.
Yeah.
So we kind of stuck to that. Even though we entertained some bigger names doing it, securing them for a little more show money. Yeah. Which obviously would have helped the show as a whole, but because it was about the athletes, I really didn't want, like, a good athlete that didn't ask for more money to find out someone else is getting more. Yeah,
it's that balancing act of, like, you don't want to piss off the athletes that are there. And then as soon as somebody finds out that somebody else is getting paid, then it's just there's no limit to it. Everybody's going to be asking for more and more and more and more. And then as a promoter, you're going to end up out of pocket.
Yeah.
And then the event suffers.
But everyone at ADCC got show money. Because someone said, I won't say who, but someone did send me the voice note I sent to the group chat, of which I released. But I thought that was cool, because I found out some people getting show money.
Well, yeah, I don't know what's common knowledge and what's not common knowledge at this point, because I think that everything that gets told to the athletes ends up being common knowledge. Like, athletes, jiu-jitsu athletes are not tight-lipped people. Like, they share the information that they have. And so this time there was show money, and obviously from the female divisions, the prize money got lifted up as well. So the athletes were looked after this year.
I want to take credit for that, but honestly, I think he only raised the show money after Fionn pulled.
The female prize pool, I think it only got raised after Fionn came through to CJI, but it was the actual prize money for the divisions and the absolute. So both of them got pulled up to what the
same.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is because the women's winner used to get 6,000, right?
For the division, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was something along the lines. I think it says 6 on the website.
That's all I've ever won, as second place, $6,000. I didn't even get fastest submission. I thought I was going to get it, and then Gordon beat me to it, that prick. But
I didn't even know that there was extra prizes until recently.
I think 3. But it's not crazy. I don't think they're crazy money.
I have no idea.
I just wanted I wanted a trophy of some type, something to hold on to.
That's the only, because I saw the trophies while we were there, and I didn't know what they were for, and then I found out afterwards. But to be fair, like, I want the trophy. I just want to know the logistics behind getting the trophy to Australia as well.
Yeah. I think they should, but you'd have to buy a fucking seat for that thing. Hey, we didn't give trophies to the CJI winners. We just gave them the fake suitcase of money. Yeah. But some of those guys were like, "Is that real?" I was like, "It's sitting there without security." Like, as if that's real. Like, what we brought on Rogan was real, but that's just a problem.
That was actually real?
That was real, yeah.
Jesus.
Because I had to prove that we had the funds, and I thought it would be like a viral clip, but then I thought Rogan would actually, if it was fake, he'd say it. Yeah. And then it would look really bad.
You have to commit to it. Did you rock up there with, like, armored trucks and...
No, it was actually a friend.
Some kind of security?
Shuffle helped me out, actually. It was a friend of these guys that had access to $1 million cash, and he just wanted to meet Rogan.
Jesus.
And then Rogan sent his security guards to pick us up. But they told me not to tell anyone I had the $1 million, but I told everyone, took photos, sent it out.
But I mean, jiu-jitsu people are so tight-lipped, hey?
Yeah. But it was crazy, hold $1 million. But that's the trophy we gave them. But that would be awkward to carry around. Jump on a plane with a fake $1 million, people will be looking at you.
Yeah, fuck. Somebody's going to rob you on your way back home.
But you had the belt for the absolute. Yeah. Did they give you 2 medals? They give you a medal as well?
Yeah, I got 2 medals. But I had to go home with the belt, and I didn't want to put it in my suitcase because I'm concerned that they're going to lose my luggage or something. So I'm walking through, LAX with a big...
And they take it out of the scanner, right?
Yeah, 100%. They took it, and they ask you, like, a million questions every time you go through with it. They ask you about jiu-jitsu and... you know, oh my God, is this like UFC? You're like kicking and punching. You have to explain to them. It's like, no, we're just kind of crawling on each other and just kind of like smushing our bodies together. And that's what jiu-jitsu is. And they always kind of look at you funny.
There's no sexy way to sell it, hey?
No, there really isn't.
But how did it affect your following and stuff? Because obviously you already a successful competitor, but like to do the double goal, it's crazy.
Yeah, the following definitely increased. Like I grew like twice the amount of followers on Instagram overnight, which was really cool. It was fun, and getting to like interact with all those guys is heaps of fun. I really enjoy like meeting new people, and I was getting messages from everywhere around the world for people that I've never met before, which was cool. But at the same time, it's now stressful when I'm putting up a story on my Instagram that originally was going to 5,000 of my close friends to random people, and now I'm getting messages for foot pics and socks and...
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like, I spoke to Fiona about how many weird messages and shit she gets. I'm sure that's a lot.
Dude, I need to know what the going rate for like socks are, because for whatever reason, I'm getting a bunch of messages for socks.
Sell them. I used to sell my underwear.
Dude, if you give me a sock, I'll just sell it, say it's mine.
I used to sell underwear for $500. You can make good money off it. That's
crazy, man. That's crazy. The internet is a weird place.
Yeah, that pays better than jiu-jitsu for sure.
Oh, easily. And it's much less time and energy than filming an instructional or teaching a seminar.
For sure, yeah. And it was easy for me because I just made my friend send his underwear, so I didn't interact with that process at all. But tons of girls do that on OnlyFans anyway.
Yeah.
It's like they're not running the account.
No.
Like I bought underwear from a vending machine in Japan. I'm sure that probably wasn't even a woman's used underwear, you know? Like you don't know what you're getting there.
Yeah.
But how have you handled the newfound fame? Because it is confronting.
It is. I think like now social media is becoming like a bigger and like more important thing for me as an athlete. Trying to figure out what kind of content people want, trying to like actually stay on top of posting, and like it feels weird because I have the perspective of nobody gives a shit what I'm doing. Nobody cares what time I wake up and how much training I do and this, that, the other. But it turns out that people actually give a shit about that, and people are curious, and people like to have that like peek behind the curtain and see what I'm eating and who I'm interacting with and things like that. So staying on top of that has become its own like secondary job. Like I'm spending more time on my phone than I've ever spent on my phone before. I'm spending more time and money on like editing apps and, you know, all that kind of shit that I just had no idea about. I had no idea how much time and energy goes into social media.
Yeah, that's all I do.
But it's like a business. It takes a whole other like knowledge bank to be able to run that kind of stuff and capitalize on it. I think it's a big thing. You get your 10 seconds of fame, and this is my time to...
Yeah, so extend it.
Exactly. I got to be as like aggressive as I can on my socials now while people are actually paying attention.
Yeah, but I think you just remember that people, it doesn't have to be real, you know?
Yeah, and that's the hard part, because like there is a balance between like authentic content and staying in front of people's eyes and getting their attention and clickbait and all that kind of stuff. It's like, unfortunately, the clickbait stuff is what gets you paid. It's like if you get more followers and you get more attention and people, you know, are watching your shit, well, you get paid more. You get paid more on fight shows. You'll get paid more on sponsorships. Like, it's like there's a direct correlation between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's just leverage for getting paid. Even for the shows, like those metrics. Like even for CJI, we use just how many people watch the stuff to sell it for your audience. You need to be able to like have a captive cult-like fan base.
Yeah.
Of weird jiu-jitsu guys.
You know exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
You got all the audience.
I know. It's kind of difficult though. It's difficult because I'm like, if I walk around, I'm saying some crazy shit, and then someone asks for a photo, I'm like, fuck, I hope they didn't hear what I was just talking about. You know, you never know who does jiu-jitsu because it's like a small fan base. But if you do jiu-jitsu, most people know the top level athletes.
Yeah.
They're kind of a strange group of people. But I reckon being jiu-jitsu famous is just like being a hot chick. You know, it's the sort of same energy of awkwardness they probably receive.
Yeah, 100%. Like when you're walking around and somebody that does jiu-jitsu comes up to you, wants to take a photo. It's very like, you're famous in a very like particular area with a particular group of people. So you kind of get the best of both worlds where you're still lining up for your coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah. Actually, that's happened the other night. We went to Electric, the club here.
Yeah.
And they didn't let me in.
Did you not go, dude, do you know who I am?
And then some people messaged me and were like, we spoke to the bouncer, we showed you were on Joe Rogan, and the guy didn't care. I was like, oh, awesome. So that's the worst part when you get denied shit. You know what I mean?
That should be like the background of your screen, just you and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, so I'm like, does this get me in? Nah, I think there were too many dudes were coming in late, but your embarrassing moments get captured. You're like, oh, cool. I'll just go home.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, you get both sides of things. You get like a normal life, a normal person, and then you're gonna get swarmed if you go to like an IBJJF event.
Yeah, I like it, but I like to avoid it too. Like I like to disappear for a bit because it does get overwhelming. You know, because you get people like you probably have after this where people will come up and be like, "You're an inspiration." Like they give you these speeches, and you're just like, what do you respond to that? There's nothing you can say.
There's
yeah, I agree. I'm totally
like,
thank you.
Cheers. Awesome.
Keep going.
I like the ones that like when you get, I don't know if you get like I get parents come up to me and be like, oh, you know, you're an inspiration for my 12-year-old kid, and that I really like because, you know, I started when I was 10. I was that 12-year-old kid that, you know, was watching jiu-jitsu and inspired by all the guys that were out there, and you know, Liv Giles. I was growing up watching her and kind of trying to follow in her footsteps. So that's pretty cool. But it's like the 40-year-old guys that are messaging me. That's a bit weird. Like it seems like people, when you kind of get a little bit, when you grow on Instagram, people will message you like they've known you for 15 years. And that to me is a bit weird.
Or the people you haven't spoken to for a long time, but then if you're too busy to respond, they're like, oh, you've changed, or you know what I mean? Like you're like, fuck, we weren't too good of friends before, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you have to deal with all this shit, especially with the super fight shows and stuff. Like some of those get so many views, so you get so many people watching. This gets fucking pretty intense.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's good now because I get leverage. Like I get to negotiate good deals with these fight shows, which is awesome. But there is like the added pressure of, if I fuck up, everybody's watching. And then you get to like that top end of things where they want to see you lose and they want to see you fuck up, and you got a target on your back. Yeah.
You have to embrace it though, because at the end of the day, you're selling it, you know, like, so like the more you put on the line. I remember Segundo spoke to me about this, because you remember Segundo was a pretty regular guy and then he became the king of cringe or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was just saying that like, as he became the persona, the more pressure he put on himself, the harder he trained, because he was like, now there's more on the line.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to fucking embarrass myself if I go out there like that.
That was his whole like marketing tool. His whole marketing tool was being embarrassing. That was what kind of propelled him as well. Like he was good. He is good. But I think you have like, it's Sugar O'Malley, whatever his name is. Even somebody like that, like he gets attention because he plays a certain persona. But if he loses, then it looks even worse. Yeah,
then it's rough. Like, yeah, that's what adds to the pressure. Like, people think it gets easier. Like they ask you for advice about competition anxiety, and you're like, nah, it only gets worse.
Yeah.
Like now people are aware.
Yeah.
They either want you to win, they want you to lose, they expect you to win, they expect you to lose. Like it only gets worse.
I think you've played it perfectly.
Embraced losing.
Because you embrace losing, so people are almost disappointed when you win. Yeah, and then if you lose, and you're like, yeah, that's the whole thing I'm selling. Like, you know, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could just market the result. Like you just find a way. And because jiu-jitsu is so serious, I think they were able to embrace me laughing at losing, you know, because they take it so serious. Some of the Brazilian people really get offended by what I say, but I'll find out because I fly to Brazil tomorrow. So we'll see how they really feel, I guess.
Yeah. I think in Brazil you're going to need some kind of
security or something. Yeah, we'll see. They definitely don't like the gay jokes. You know what I mean? Like, because I think they get, like, people make fun of jiu-jitsu guys because they're like, oh, it looks a bit gay. And I'm like, yeah.
But it is.
I'm like, it's fine. It's fucking embrace it.
Yeah.
But the Brazilian guys get angry. Even the Central Asian, like, obviously some of the Muslim guys, they'll be like, Craig, stop these jokes, please.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
They're not for it. I get around it. I need one of the Rashguards that, what is it, keep jiu-jitsu gay?
Keep jiu-jitsu gay, yeah.
I need one of those, man.
I was surprised. That's sold pretty well because it was a rip-off of, there's a famous t-shirt, Keep Austin Weird.
Yep.
So almost everything I've done is just stolen. Like I've just stolen and put a slight change on it.
Yeah.
So that actually went good. I think it's a good thing. It's like, just relax. It's just a bit of jiu-jitsu.
But that's Australian, that's what like Australian persona is. It's just like, don't take it too seriously. Like, just relax. It's barely a sport. We love jiu-jitsu. I would die for jiu-jitsu, but it's only like just a sport. It's not really, it's the weirdest thing in the world. Like we're still building how professional it is. We're still, finding out how to actually legitimize it as a viewership thing.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm fueled by pettiness, but that's what I'm attempting. That's what I keep thinking about for the next event. I'm like, how am I going to do 12, 14, 16-hour days when I'm not fueled by the pettiness of ADCC? Like, it's harder to get motivated.
You got to find something else. You got to find something else to be
another
petty
industry.
about.
Yeah, I got to find someone. Maybe it'll just be against flow grappling, something like that. I'm actually, probably what motivates me to be petty is the people that said no to sponsoring the first event because they just thought it was going to fail.
Yeah.
And so, like, them asking to be a part of the next event, but I'd probably just be like, nah, sorry.
I don't want your $1 million.
Yeah,
no,
you
can keep it over there. No.
You have to pay triple now.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Now it's worth something. Now there's, you prove that it works, so it's worth more now.
It's just a lot of work. Like, you can imagine dealing with all the athletes, like coordinating everything, just like herding cats.
100%.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's I mean,
especially when there's like how many like male competitors did you have? Something like 36.
Yeah. What was
32?
it? 32. Yeah, 33, including myself.
Oh yeah, 32. Yeah, fuck. That would be like herding cats because they're all over the place. Like.
Yeah, and I spoke to him because I said, guys, we're running a small operation. I'm not booking your flights and accommodation.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be paid show money. Just make sure you're here by this date. And like, you're only we require this little of you.
Yeah.
But like, you get 10,000 to one to show. If you buy your flight and hotel now, worst case scenario, you still get 9K to show. And then I said that to them. I messaged that to them. And then they were still like, hey, when do we get our tickets and stuff? And you're like, those are the moments where I was like, fuck this whole thing.
I'm walking away. I'm done with it.
They were like confused. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, we had this conversation. I repeated it. But that's the easy way to do it. Like, if you're an athlete and you're getting show money, it's like, just book your own tickets. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, the amount of athletes that will change their flights and change where they're at and all that kind of shit. Just easier that way that they can deal with it.
Did you change your flight after you won? You were like, fuck this, I'm going to go celebrate?
No, I had to go back. I had to drive. So I went to the after party on the Sunday and then got back home at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5 a.m.
That's Monday morning Vegas.
Monday morning Vegas, yep. And then we had to wake up to clean up the Airbnb because we had to drive from Las Vegas to LA. And then we had to fly from LA back home that night.
Oh, the night flight, right? Yeah, it's always at night.
We had to like drive in the car 6 hours, just hungover.
I would have just changed that shit for sure.
I was tempted, but my partner, she had work.
Oh, to go back to work, yeah.
So I was like, if she flew all the way here, and she was in my corner and dealing with my shit.
Just lie to work.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, maybe you got COVID, maybe you're sick.
Yeah, say something to get out of that.
Yeah, I did try, but.
I tried so hard for the ADCC after party to send a bottle to Mo's table and have like the girls, the signs come out and shit.
Yeah.
But they shut it down.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
There were girls there were people holding signs and bottles and shit.
Yeah, no, but the manager because Mo, he paid I think he paid like 150K for the after party.
Jesus.
So
it was a really cool after party. Like, it was. Because
it's not open. Hakkasan's not open on Sunday. So he paid to open it. So because he paid so much money, the bar manager, after we bought the bottle to send to his table, said, hey, Mo, someone's bought you a bottle. He said, and I was like, who did it? And he's like, it's Craig. And I was like, don't send the bottle.
Wow.
I was like, fuck. Would have been a good last little prank before I escaped. But yeah, the Vegas clubs are awesome. ADCC after party.
Yeah, it was fun. All the jiu-jitsu athletes are there and they're all getting rowdy. There were just people like just going absolutely hard on it. There were people getting dragged out of the club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was some rough looking people in there.
Were there any fights?
I don't think so. None that I saw, but I was surprised. Like, everybody's just trying to one up, and everybody's like most of the guys in there are a bit sad because they lost their matches, so they're just like drowning themselves in $200 shots at the club.
Fuck. We went out on the Saturday night because the event was dusted, but like we were just attacking each other, like because Rockhold lost, we're like insulting him, like just because he was complaining about his back. We're like, oh, you poor back, are you okay? But we went to Colombia for 5 days after, so that was the real after party for us.
Jeez.
Barely survived that. But like since you've been back, is it just you're just back in the routine, same teaching, everything?
Yeah, back in the routine, teaching, like training. Training's going to ramp up again because I think I'll still have, hopefully a couple fights before the end of the year if I can get all my ducks in a row with that one. Yeah, I think just everything's back in routine. I thrive on routine, man. I like routine. I like waking up at the same time, going to the same like training sessions, more or less eating the same food. And then I was in America for like 2 months straight.
Yeah, Atos, right?
Yeah, I was training in San Diego at Atos with the crew there, and that was like hard training. Like it was good, but it was hard, and it's 7 a.m. sessions too. So waking up at like 6 a.m., getting there half asleep, but like trying to wake our bodies up, 2-hour session in the morning. But that was good for like routine because by the time you're done, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever. And you got the rest of the day to lift, do another session, drill.
So it'd be 7 a.m. and you'd train again that day?
Yeah, we're trying to train again generally either at night or we'd do like a midday session just with like a small group of us.
I can't handle night classes, hard training, because I can't sleep.
Yeah, it is tough, but I think by that point when you're waking up at 6 a.m. and you're training at 7 a.m., by the time you get home, even if you're not tired, I just passed out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It kills me. I've done some Atos camps before. I remember we did like 10-minute rounds one day. I was like, fuck. Yeah. I ain't ever doing this again.
No, like sometimes it's fucking. It just depends on what Andre wants to do on the day. When it's always different. So you walk in, you got no idea what's going to happen. It could be an easy day. It could be like a piss day.
Was he training or mostly watching?
Mostly watching. So he actually divided it this time where it was the smaller guys in the morning session, in the early session, and then he did the heavier guys in the later session, just because the mats were really packed and the bigger guys were almost killing us because they were just.
Crashing.
They were just crashing across the mat, and if one of them lands on us, then that's our career done.
Yeah, for real.
So he split it up. So all the guys, I think it was like the above 88s or 99ers, ended up being like the latest session at like 10 a.m. So that was good, and I think he trained in the bigger session, but he coached in the.
But he wasn't training super hard, right? Like,
nah.
Yeah, because he hit me up to say if anyone pulls out, put me in, and I was like, bro, you should have said this 2 weeks ago.
No, dude, he was barely training, but he would have done it too.
Would have jumped in, yeah.
Yeah, he has absolutely no fear when it comes to that kind of stuff. He would jump in on a week's notice. He would jump in on a day's notice.
Would have been cool though, because like I don't want to criticize the heavy division, but our heavy division was definitely weaker. I mean, I think it's always harder to win the lighter divisions generally, but like we didn't have Kainan, obviously Marigali, Philippe, Yuri Samos, so that if we could have had Galval, Victor Hugo lost first round, so we were like, oh, fuck.
I know, Lucas Canard came out and
that was crazy. Huh?
That was impressive. Like that was like I've seen Lucas train and he's very, very impressive with his leg locks. And I saw that he had Victor in the first round. And, it was optimistic for Lucas, but also like Victor Hugo has...
Yeah, you're like, oh.
He's got accolades behind him, I saw him against Nicky at WNO because I was on that card and Victor Hugo was like looking good. And I thought I thought it was going to be a Victor Hugo Nicky finals, but then Lucas came out and surprised everybody and it was just... another one for Australia.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Like when I thought about it afterwards, I was like, Canard's quick and he hit a back step and I'm like, Victor plays like flat on his back. Like it's like, the back step was kind of dead, it felt like an old technique. But then in that sense, like I was like, oh, fuck, it's pretty good.
I think if those like old techniques are going to be revived, they're going to be revived in the heavier divisions.
Yeah, true.
If somebody's going to come back and start doing berimbolos, it's gonna be like a plus 80 kilo dude.
I did feel bad for Victor. Someone bet shuffle. They put 15K on Victor to beat him, and I reshared it. And then everyone thought I bet 15K, and I was like, Canard was like, they thought that for a long time. I was like, no, I didn't bet. What the fuck would I bet 15K? Throw 15K around on that shit.
No.
But there was a ton of betting going on. Shuffle guys told me the numbers and stuff, like especially with ADCC. and CJI, like people love betting on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think it's like a new thing that's coming in where the reality is you can bet on anything.
We're allowed to bet on ourselves to win, but
really?
not by method of victory.
Okay.
Because I was 10-1 to beat Gabby by decision, and it was like, oh, that I should do that, but that would be illegal.
And it's totally, you can bet on yourself and it's fine.
Yeah, you can bet on yourself to win.
Dang.
Obviously not to lose, but
yeah, right. That makes sense. Yeah, because I did get some people hit me up saying, "Oh, you made me money today. Thank you." I was like, "Oh yeah, you're welcome."
Those are good.
I did it for you guys.
See, when the other messages come, it's bad.
Yeah, like, you fucking lost me money, you piece of shit. I'm like, no, apparently I made some people money, which was like kind of nice.
You would have been a low.
I had average odds. I didn't actually. I tend not to look at my odds because I don't know. I just don't look at that kind of stuff because it gets in my head. So
it gets in your head?
I just ignore it. Like that kind of stuff. It's like when you do like Instagram polls of, who's going to win this or this. I try to just ignore it because like it's never realistic. Yeah. It's a popularity contest. So I try and just.
But now your odds will be good.
Now I know. Now I don't know if I want to see them for like the opposite reason of like too much pressure.
Yeah, now they'll be fucking really good.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I feel like my odds should have been okay. I don't know. It's hard. I'm biased because I know the statistics from all the female competitors in my division and like all the female competitors that I fight. I know what their fight history is, so I know what my odds should be.
You know it because you study it, or you know it because you're a fan as well?
Both, but more so like we do our research, so we know, when the last time they fought was, how like method of win or loss, whatever that's going to be. We do like decent research into it, and now with like BJJ Heroes and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty easy to like look it up and check, and watch the matches themselves even. But it's most of the betting odds is just a popularity contest. It's how many Instagram followers do they have? Okay, person with the most Instagram followers is probably going to win. Or
like someone like a friend will bet big on their friend, and that'll just it'll move the odds because you could affect the odds pretty. Like, because obviously jiu-jitsu is so small, you could affect the odds of a match pretty easy with a big bet. Did Galval do much tape study or anything like that, or just broad practice?
I think he did a little bit. He had a lot of competitors to deal with, so he had in the males divisions. He had like Kynan, Perez. I think he would have had like upwards of 7 or 8 competitors, something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to study.
And they're all different divisions too. So like even just me and Rafaela, for instance, 2 very different divisions. But he knew the girls because he'd been around for so long. So he'd seen Bianca Basilio when she first started, and he'd seen matches of A-Rod, for instance. Like he knew what the girls did. So he was really helpful in that way. But I also had Jake O'Driscoll there.
Oh yeah, Jake.
And he did more tape study than I've ever seen anybody do in my life. Like we would do our training session and he would sit on the sides and coach and help me out. So he went to the training camp at Atos. And then we'd go home, shower off, and we'd go to the beach to do a recovery session to just get in the water. And he'd stay at home and watch jiu-jitsu, but not like passively watch jiu-jitsu, like sit there, stare at his laptop, write notes. And we'd leave and we'd come back and he'd be 15 matches deep into watching more matches. And he would have watched every single match from every female competitor at least like 5 to 10 times. And just like absorbed all of it. So by the time like the bracket came out and I knew who I was going to fighting, we had like all the pathways lined up. We had everything ready to go.
Because that's one thing I don't like about ADCC is that the bracket reveal is like the day before.
Yeah.
Like that's part of me as a competitor thought I'll drop the CJI brackets early. But as promoter, I was like, that'll help move some tickets. But as an athlete, I was like, oh, that'll give the coaches a chance to like narrow their focus a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is helpful knowing who you're going to fight because it gives you time to do the research. But end of the day, it's like the athletes need to be prepared for anything and anyone. I think it was not this ADCC, the one before that. The brackets accidentally got released early.
Oh yeah, I found out. I told everyone.
We were like backstage, or we were doing some rules meeting or something, and then it got announced, and everybody just chaotically was like on their phone, fucking trying to check what was going on. And then everybody saw, but then when it actually got released, it changed again.
Yeah.
So it almost fucked with everybody even more because everybody's expectations just got
Yeah,
shifted around.
Flow fucked it up. They put it on the they put it on something.
They put it on like the stream, so you could, when you clicked a certain mat, I think it had the brackets below it.
It's like,
and
why
the
did,
seating.
what? I guess they had it to get it ready for the broadcast and shit. I remember some of them stayed the same, but like,
Yeah, some of them did. I
think
just
one
remember,
was
I know
alright.
that Lockie's changed. That was,
That's
because
right,
I don't think there
yeah.
were many that I actually
He's got
paid
way
attention.
worse. He had Cade.
Yeah, he had Langaka and then it changed to Cade.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
probably excited for that.
But yeah, but even the seeding, it's like you can try and do all the equations with the seeding. You can try and justify any kind of version of seeding that you do, but you never know. Like we did all the research and tried to like, oh, this person's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it was completely different.
Mo, we used to be able to ask him loosely about, he would at least sort of kind of give you an idea of who's number 1 seed or 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think 1 and 2 is pretty easy generally. Well, for the females, there's 8 of us. 1 and 2 is pretty easy to figure out. It's everything under that is more difficult. Like I didn't think I was going to get my ESA first round. I thought they were going to try and save that a little bit deeper in. I hoped and thought I was going to fight her at some point, but first round, that was a bit of a surprise. But again, at the end of the day, you just got to be ready for anybody at any point, because you're going to end up fighting. You have to be ready to fight anybody in that division, because who knows who's going to win or lose.
As bad as it sounds to me, I think first place, the best person always takes first. But the seed in bracket sometimes decides who gets second or third.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
You usually, like, you're never going to be the best and have such a bad bracket you lose. You know, it's like a coping mechanism, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, and that's why, like, for the females, they always invite 3rd and 4th place. Like they'll invite everywhere up to 4th place. Yeah.
And then the 4 trials. I mean, the trials have come up quick again. Hey, like that first round of trials. I would never want to do CJI on that level. You know, that would be so much work.
Like the whole build up.
Yeah, like trials, like CJI Open.
I was gonna say, is there gonna be like CJI local competitions?
That would be my whole life gone. You know, I don't know. It's almost too much. I almost don't like the ADCC Opens, or like, as bad as it sounds, even the kids ones, because it was like, it was just ADCC. You know, it was kind of this singular crazy event.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Having opens all the time, it helps you prepare for the rule set, but I don't know, there was something crazy about it just being every 2 years.
There were like one event that it was just, yeah, like I get that. And
I don't love the rules that much, you know, like if the rules are really good. Like I really wanted to show, because I competed in karate combat and I was like, wow, we should be competing in this pit thing.
The pit's cool. Like the pit's really cool, the idea of it, and just like the referees not having any input into the match. I find that's really cool.
What do you
think
think
every rule set can be gamed.
Oh, for sure.
I think every rule set you can take advantage of it. Like the ADCC rule set with every total exchange just negating everything. You can game that for sure. IBJJF, you get fucking advantage and you stall that for the rest of the match. You can game that. I think, I don't know. I don't know what the way of gaming the pit would be. I guess it's 3 5-minute rounds. So
3 5s, yeah. And we kind of wanted to have it like, because people really, like you said, they're going to game it. So we kind of wanted to leave it a bit open to interpretation so that you couldn't easily game it.
Yeah.
Because they'll try and do the bare minimum to win. And we even said that, like, if you win the first round 10-8 and your opponent wins the next 2 10-9, whoever wins the last round wins.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want people to coast to victory.
Yeah, fair.
So it's like we just tried to think of it in a way that would be most exciting. But heavyweights can always find a way to be fucking boring.
Fuck, dude. Always.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's so hard to incentivize 2 big dudes that are just trying to push at each other. Luke did it, like Luke Rockholm.
Yep.
He did a cool job, like cranking up the crowd and
at least
making it entertaining.
Yeah, I think
funny.
if you're gonna be boring, like, be entertaining. Like Pat Downey, after he won, he did the fuck Gordon chant, which I was like, that's entertaining. Like, having just one match on at a time, I thought was important. You know, like, because ADCC, you don't want to miss a match as a fan.
Yeah, it's really hard when there's like so much going on. It's cool because you can get through so many divisions at once, and you know, so many competitors can be a part of it. Like there's there's upsides, but it is hard when there's two really exciting matches on at once.
Yeah,
or
and then
as a competitor,
you miss it, eh?
Yeah, as a competitor, like wanting to see people within your division fight and watch that match, but it's kind of happening at the same time as yours. Like, I definitely understand why they do it, because they have upwards of 100 competitors, however many it is. But as a spectator, it's tricky to watch everybody.
Yeah, it's hard to balance that out.
Yeah.
The only things we do different, like our first day was so long because we had to get through the first 2 rounds of 2 divisions.
What time do you guys finish?
I think midnight or something crazy.
Yeah, shit.
And we started at 3, went till, it might have even been 1, but I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a long day.
Yeah, that's the hard part about it. That's why like one mat is tricky. 1 mat, 2 divisions, plus super fights the next day. I think people underestimate how long that is, especially with like the heavyweights. The heavyweights. Well, they're not gonna like. There's not gonna be high submission rate in the heavyweight fights, and I don't even think there was some quick submissions in the.
Yeah, Lucas Canard, thank you.
Yeah, there was a quick sub there. I think Nicky Rod got some back chokes.
Yeah, I think he's always around round 2 or 3, but he got the finishes.
Levi got a quick heel hook.
Yeah, Levi taking out Roberto. Honestly, Roberto for me was one of the dark horses to take the million because he's submitted Cade before, but Levi took him out quick, which is obviously awesome. Love Levi, but I would love to have seen Roberto in some other matches.
Yeah,
because he's one of the most exciting to watch, I think.
CJI 2.
CJI
2.0, right?
Yeah. When I get the energy to do it again.
There's more millions of dollars out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Shuffle will pay for this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
No, we gotta crunch the numbers, donate to the charities. Everyone keeps messaging me saying, when are you actually gonna, like, is the non-profit real? The non-profit has been vouched for by the IRS, thank God. So we got one layer of legitimacy.
Yeah.
But we're going to donate within the next week or 2. Because CJI went so good that all the people we hired, got so many other job offers that they were slow to send us the bill. You know, like they were basking in their own glory or like crunching numbers and shit. So Thomas and Mac were a little slow paying out. You know, like there was just, like everyone thinks, oh, it's done. You got the money, pay the charity. But it's like, oh, it's fucking taken
a bit slower than
a long time.
Yeah.
But that should happen soon. And then we can try to sell CJI too.
And that'll be every year, not a bi-yearly?
I mean, so it depends how, like it depends how we shop it, you know?
Yeah.
Like we'll have to really figure it out. Because again, I don't want another day one that's like 12 hours. That doesn't make sense if we get it on a big network or a streaming platform. You know, like I don't think ESPN or something would be interested in a 12-hour event, you know? So we have to figure out how to package it and sell it as a package. But 6 events or something like that over the course of the year would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Something that's like more like a season, so people can follow the season and the different weight divisions and the different parts of the year would be cool. Yeah,
like a PFL, but instead of the guys
I forget the PFL did that,
doing like you fight multiple times a year, it's still like your division is this weekend, you know, and then the next one.
And some female divisions.
Females, yeah. Cancel the men's heavyweight.
Just get rid of all the men. Yeah, exactly. Anything that's plus 80 kilos.
Yeah, anything over 80, you're out, you know? Because it's way more exciting.
You know? Yeah, but now, watch all these plus 80s be like, yeah, but I identify as...
Yeah, that's
fucking sneak into our divisions.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
But
that's what I'll do.
No more absolutes.
But yeah, honestly, it'll be interesting to see how we can play it moving forward because we have all the metrics. The peak views were for me and Gabby, but the views were still very high for Fionn versus Mackenzie.
Yeah.
So obviously Mackenzie's bringing a huge UFC fan base, but that still just shows women still bring eyes to it. You know?
Yeah, and it's fantastic for us because we can see that number and we can go to these fight promotions and say, hey, we bring viewership. Like this is proof. This is the numbers. These are the metrics that we need to say, hey, if we bring viewership, we deserve to get paid what we deserve to get paid, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the goal, to give away the same prize money for a women's tournament. Like, because like we probably could have. It would have been hard because we had already committed to 2 divisions, and you saw how long it was.
Yeah.
Like if Thomas and Mac was actually booked on Sunday, so we couldn't even extend it a 3rd day.
Yeah. Okay.
But within the budget constraints, like I really wanted the $1 million, because when people hear that people are fighting over $1 million, they go crazy.
Yeah.
And if we had done like a women's division and not paid the same, it would have just been like, it just wouldn't have felt, you know what I mean?
It would have looked a bit off.
Yeah, it would have been like pay structure. It would have been like, oh, fuck, we really did do ADCC again.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, you guys would have probably copped it for that.
Even if instead of 16, it was like 8 men, 8 women. You know what I mean? Like keep the tournament numbers the same as well.
Yeah.
Like I think an 8-man tournament's probably better over a single night.
Yeah.
Because like EBI is 16, man, and that's a long night.
It's just hard because like I would say easier for the females just because broadly there's less female competitors in general. I think there'd be some divisions that would be really hard to have 8 males just because of the sheer talent that's in there. Like there's like the 77 division in ADCC is stacked. Like it's
crazy, yeah.
And you could keep adding to it and add more people, and they would have just as much like a right to that spot as somebody else. So it's like those divisions would be so hard to make it. And then what? You do trials, and then you end up in this whole circuit of.
I would favor the subs though. Like I would say, all right, you win a lot, but you don't submit anyone.
Yeah.
Like this is $1 million, sports entertainment.
Maybe that's how you do the seeding, just based on how many submissions you get yearly.
How exciting you are, like an excitement factor. You know, like a Roberto Jimenez, win or lose is exciting. There's a submission involved. You know what I mean? Like, well, I guess it's more the scramble. People think the sub's the most exciting part, but I think the scramble, like Kate and Andrew, no submission.
I mean. But that, like after that match, everybody was saying like match of the year. That was interesting and engaging start to finish. It could bring in audience that don't watch jiu-jitsu, and they could watch it and be interested in it. And that's what these events are trying to do. That's what CJI, ADCC, all these bigger events are trying to reach a bigger audience, more money, everybody's happy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we really do shop it around, you know, because like there is a lot of money out there. There's a lot of work I'd have to do on my hands.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to be like CJI, I do it and I'm out.
Yeah, you just got to put somebody in the role that does it for you.
Yeah, someone else.
It's called delegating.
I mean, my business partner Seth does most of the legwork.
Yeah.
I have most of the ideas. He does most of the execution, but still, like, I remember one day I was on the phone for 16 hours to people.
Jesus.
And I was like, what am I doing? You know, I'm like,
what have I committed to?
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we do the women's division next, or at least like a single, maybe a 2-day, 2 division, what would the most exciting women's weight division be?
I'm biased.
Or would it just be open? First one, $1 million.
I think open's really difficult just because, and that's coming from me, and I won the open weight. But like, I went into that not having high expectations. I just kind of did it as I'm not injured, I might as well. And I was talking a really big game before I got to ADCC, saying that in the division, that's where champions are made, but in the absolute, that's where legends are made. And I'm like, I want to have a hand at being a legend. And I saw what it did for Lockie's career and Lockie's life, and how, you know, coming off the back end of his bronze medal in the absolute, how much it elevated his entire jiu-jitsu career, and wanted to have a crack at it. But an absolute division is rough for females, just because females get as small as 49 kilos and even smaller, and then you get the plus 65, which realistically there's people coming in at 80, 85. Even that's like,
girls,
there's a really big disparity between the heaviest of heavy and the lightest of light, and it's... Yeah.
And they're not as exciting. But it's just easier to sell, you know? But it's not, it won't ultimately be as exciting. That's the problem, yeah.
Well, then you just get those matches where it's the smaller person just trying to play on the outsides of the bigger person. And I don't think many people want to watch that either. I like small jiu-jitsu. I like smaller competitors, you know, all the rooster weights, light feathers. And I think that's something like below 56.5 kilos. That's what all those divisions are. And then if you divide it into like IBJJF categories, three in the middle, and then 4, 5 up the end. which is kind of the 55, 65, 65 plus. The only problem that we have with that now is because it's day before weigh-ins, you get
some crazy cuts. Yeah,
crazy cuts, and there's no like hydration testing. So like there are people that are coming in on their deathbed that, you know, either are making the weight and really unwell, or just flat out not making the weight and just like sneaking in by the skin of their teeth.
How strict was ADCC?
I hope strict.
Weigh-ins, because I remember one of the guys, I won't say who, but he didn't get naked and he was overweight. You know, like he didn't fully strip down, but he was over, and they were just like, "Come on through."
Fuck. I don't know. I'd hope it's strict, but I remember somebody telling me it's like it's your responsibility if you want your competitors to be the same weight. Your responsibility is to sit there and watch the scales.
Yeah, fuck that.
And but I've heard some stories about in a whole bunch of different fight promotions, people getting through when they didn't make weight, and people finding out way after. And then once it's done, like, who do you complain to? It's done at that point.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
No.
There's nothing you can do if there's a bad call, even, you know?
No, 100%. Like I got referees coming up to me after some matches being like, "Oh, sorry, we made the wrong call." I'm like, yeah, but that could have been the difference between me winning my division and going home in the first round, you know? And it's a big responsibility, especially when ADCC, there's what, like 5 people that are, what do you call them? 5 referees, 5
on the
judges.
side, like...
Even at IBJJF, there's 3, but they still fuck it up. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is a hard game.
100%.
I mean, that's with our thing with the open scoring. Like, you're sitting there, you're like, "Fuck, please score the round correctly." You know, like, please.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think they all did. They did pretty good judges. I mean, some people think Levi won the finals. Some think Cade. I don't know.
I like them both. Like, obviously, I love Levi. Like, I train with Levi all the time. So I'm a biased person. I also train with Cade and Ty, and they're lovely guys. So I just hope that they're all happy.
Yeah.
And that their injuries get.
Levi may have got a secret bonus, so hopefully he's happy.
Hopefully he's happy then.
Hopefully he's happy with that. But Cade said he got hurt, so he pulled out. You saw he pulled out of the Mikey match.
I did see that. Yeah.
He would have hated that though, based on how he was annoyed by Levi. Like he would have been dealing with the same shit.
Yeah, I think it would have been a similar match. Like I think Mikey would have posed some different questions for him, but I think it would have been guard versus top game wrestling. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll put it on down the line. I don't know how severe his injury is, so I don't know how long he's out for. But
I mean, you take $1 million, you're probably relaxing for a while.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of people ask me if I was in the finals and somebody had a clean heel hook and they were going to tear my ACL. And I was like, would you let it snap? I was like, oh, depending on what the prize money is. I had to do like, you have to do like a bit of maths of $1 million can pay for an ACL, a new ACL, and all the physiotherapy that goes along with it. Fuck yeah, I'd let my ACL snap for that.
I don't think I would, eh? I'd be like, fuck it. I'll find another way to make $1 million.
Yeah.
But if you want $1 million US now, you'd be balling out in Australia though.
Oh man, the conversion would make it fantastic.
It'd be crazy. I mean, Nicky Rod took the $1 million, just had a kid. Cade took the $1 million, split it with his brother. Pretty cool. I'm jealous now. When I first announced it, I was like, oh, $1 million. But as it got closer and I saw some of the names and I was like, fuck, if one of these guys wins the $1 million, I'm like, you don't deserve that.
Yeah, no, there's some people in the list you're like, if they win the $1 million, I'm going to be salty about it.
You're pissed, yeah.
But the people that won the $1 million, I'm very happy for them, and they deserved it, and they put on good performances. So, you know, I'm happy for them, and I'm excited to see what they do. I wonder if Nicky's going to put it all to beef jerky or.
I think he said that, and that's when I was like, fuck, that's a bad investment. You know, that's beef jerky.
Yeah.
Where you put the $1 million.
Yeah, maybe it's going to set him up. I don't know. Who knows?
But yeah, you could be next, CJI 2 millionaire.
Maybe the first female jiu-jitsu millionaire. That could be cool.
Yeah, that would be true, right? Yeah.
I'm assuming. I can't, off the top of my head, think of another jiu-jitsu athlete, purely jiu-jitsu athlete, that would be a millionaire.
Yeah, especially from just competing alone. And it's way harder because there's way less women academies. Like, I'm pretty sure Fanatics, I don't think there's, off the top of my head, a woman instructor in the top 10 for revenue.
I don't think so, no.
I don't think.
No.
Have you got instructionals out?
I got some stuff coming out. So I'm some stuff coming out with Lockie and Submeta. We just did some
Oh,
filming.
that'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. That should be heaps of fun. We're just trying to pump out the content. I spent 2 hours at his house yesterday, him teaching me all the different ways he edits it and all that kind of stuff. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes on that.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's such a high quality product that people get what they pay for. Like you pay for a high quality product, you get it, and it's like consistent as well, which is really cool. And then some stuff on BJJ Fanatics in the near future as well. Maybe either when I'm in Boston, back in America, or doing it from here.
Yeah, you should get it out ASAP.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the momentum, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think, unfortunately, in jiu-jitsu, like I think that the guys can ride that high a little bit longer than the females can. I think, like I got some traction, I got some attention, but I think that like it's not going to be like that for as long as I would like it to be like that.
And we honestly probably, like, the way I see it is we basically, like, in terms of the women's divisions for ADCC, we're basically untouched. And in terms of the men's 66 kilo division, was untouched. So they're the people I feel most bad for like stealing the marketing buzz, you know? And I was just like, oh, fucking it's brutal. But it was like the fight was with ADCC, but obviously had to be some collateral damage too, you know?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, everybody won. I think
at the end, yeah.
End of the day, all the athletes won. There was a lot of athletes that got, you know, that either got prize money or were on a show when they weren't supposed to be on a show in the first place, you know, got eyes on them. I think viewership was hopefully high for both events. I know that the metrics for CJI were actually like public knowledge, but I'm going to
I want to know Flo's metrics.
I would love to know. I would love to know what the metrics are for Flo and what the numbers actually look like. I'm so curious. I don't know. Maybe they'll release it one day and they'll tell everybody.
No, someone would have to take it by Flow Sports to release it because, like, if for Fight Pass or Flow, it's not in their interest to release it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're giving leverage.
That's what I was going to say. It's really hard to negotiate as an athlete when you don't know what kind of numbers you actually draw. The only metric you can give them is I have this many Instagram followers, but I don't actually know how many of these Instagram followers directly translate into viewers or memberships or subscriptions or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it will be low, like in terms of like, I don't know, I've heard like people tell around half a percent of like what your conversion rate is for sales, you know?
Yeah.
But jiu-jitsu's got a weird cult-like following, so it's probably higher.
Yeah, and people just don't like paying for shit either. So I've heard that people pirate Flow.
Oh, for sure. You know, someone told me he pirated CJI, and I was like, it was free. He's like, I watched it on crack streams, and I was like, it's on
free. YouTube, wasn't it?
So yeah, even if it's free on YouTube, they're fucking still pirate it. I'm like, that's the craziest shit I ever heard. But yeah, that blew my mind. But you sell merch, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there. These are all the samples that are done. There's going to be some daddy merch coming out. There's going to be some hats and some shirts that are on their way. Pre-sale should be up in about a week or so.
That's a great way to actually make some cash because people don't, you know, like people will support you without a commitment to an instructional. You know? Yeah. And I think like if people like you, they like whatever you put out. But I think instructional market's a bit, like the profits are really good. Like you can make some crazy money. But now you see some instructionals coming out that are just absurd themes and you're just like, oh, fuck, it seems to be getting.
It's becoming very clickbaity. It's becoming very like the one sweep that's going to change your game, the one submission you need to know, and you've got to watch 3 hours of content to actually get to that one part. It's becoming a little bit of a money grab, and hopefully people can see that and stick to the higher quality stuff. And that's why I really like Submeta. Like unbiasedly, I actually really like the product of Submeta. Like I've used Submeta and really enjoyed the way it's structured and things like that. But it's structured quite well, but the filming's done quite well. And the what do you call it? The quality of the cameras are done well and the audio is done quite well.
Yeah, he puts a lot of effort into it.
It's crazy, man.
I mean, that's like, it's hard to find just people that actually put the effort in, like they care about the product. You know, that's what, for CJI, we try to find people that actually really care. You know, like I think if you get lazy on who you hire to do these things, it's like, it shows.
Yeah.
Way. But yeah, Submeta. B team, we have a Submeta, but fucking, I don't post. That's for the other guys, I think. I don't know.
I think I've seen some like Nicky Rod videos on some of the beginning courses, and then just some Q&As as well and some rolling footage.
Q&As, yeah.
Stuff there.
I just get too lazy. There's so many things going on.
Dude, you'd be juggling about 1 million things all at once. Where do you think majority of your time goes into?
I mean, my life I feel a bit lost since CJI because it's like what to do next, you know?
Where are you going to next?
South America next, to be on, just mainly to be on the time zone, but to get a bit of an escape from people.
Yeah, fair.
Because like you felt, yeah, it gets overwhelming. You know?
It does, yeah.
You love it, but you also like, fuck, you want to miss it in some way.
Yeah, it is good to like have it and then be able to completely back away from it and do something that's your own for sure.
But you can go back into a regular routine, that's perfect.
Yeah, like everybody here is like treating me normally and nobody's chasing me down or trying to snap my shit. I think that's the main thing. I think traveling around, going to gyms that I've never trained at before, having people that like recognize me and then they gun for me, trying to like break my shit because apparently if they hurt me and they beat me, then they get all my...
Yeah, they steal your accomplishments.
Yeah, then I might as well just hand over my belt and my medals because that's what that means. Like,
yeah.
I think that's what I'm more worried about now.
You got to be real careful about that too, because that really is... That could fuck up your career, like some idiot.
But like I've seen some of your videos of like you rolling on some of the seminars and people like you want them. You're like,
yeah, I'll just break it now.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, but people will let it break. Like that's insane.
Yep.
I don't understand what people's expectations are when they roll with you of trying to beat you. It's like there's levels to it. Don't let your ACL snap. Don't let your ankle snap when you're rolling with, you know, somebody who is a professional jiu-jitsu athlete that has done this for years. It's just, I don't understand where the ego comes from.
Yeah, and I don't train as much anymore, so it's harder now. Like, I'm just like, I got to be careful. Like, I'm like, they could get me, you know? Like, whereas once upon a time when I was sharp, I felt much safer at seminars, but...
Problem is they'll get you and they'll never shut up about it, and they'll circulate the footage.
Yeah, that's why you let them get a couple more.
Yeah.
So it's less believable.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate seminars now? Are you booking out a ton?
A ton through it. So we're currently just kind of confirming some of the dates of travel, but I'll be through Brisbane, through Sydney, New South Wales in general. I'm going to hit Tasmania, I'm going to do Perth, and then I'm going to do New Zealand as well. And then once I've done everything here, I'm going to do a US tour as well. I got some requests in some places where I've never heard of or seen before, so it'd be cool to visit a little bit more of America because I've only really seen California. I've been to New York a few times, been to Washington, but I'd like to see some of the other places. The real America. Yeah, well, I went to Austin, and Austin feels like very, very America.
Very American, yeah, but Austin's still like, kind of has a California crowd, you know, like wait till you hit some spots like Tennessee, Louisiana. And
that's
shit.
where I want to go,
like, that feels real, like even places like, the places tourists don't go, like Ohio and stuff, it's like, you get a sense, you know, like most Australians, I used to be that way, was like, oh, America's California, New York.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's so much to see in the middle there.
But they're all so different as well. Like through America, all, like you can tell the difference between somebody that's from California versus somebody that's from New York, Washington, wherever. Like they're all very different, they speak different. You know, they have different accents. Who
manages it? Like when you, say for example, how do you organize and book and stuff? Like, does someone help you with that, or you figure that out yourself?
No, so I got a team around me, but I have a manager from California named Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah
nice.
Rafferty. She's an absolute whiz. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And you wouldn't, like, she's 5'2" and blonde hair and just is conquering the world.
And negotiates on your behalf.
Oh my God, she's ruthless. She's fantastic. She knows exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it. She has the most well-worded emails.
You need it because you can't negotiate, like, you can't negotiate with yourself because you feel like an arsehole, demanding. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you don't want to be aggressive when you're negotiating, when you're directly messaging them, because you want to have a good relationship with these fight promoters. So you need to have a middleman's really important, somebody that can be a little bit more assertive and a bit more aggressive. I think it's really important, but also just to get more eyes on what's actually going on. Jiu-jitsu people are not generally the best at reading through contracts or
reading it all.
Or reading it all in general. Like I'm dyslexic as all shit, so I don't think I've read many of my contracts, or like most of the time somebody's reading them to me to actually explain what's in them, because it's just not my forte. But if you're not smart enough to do it, be smart enough to have somebody around you that can do it and can do it better than you.
Yeah, so you don't have to split your focus.
Yeah.
And does she negotiate like sponsorships for you and stuff as well?
Yeah, so she's a part of like sponsorship negotiation for things like brands, like gear sponsors and things like that. She does fight promotions, pretty much everything in between as well. You know, she's a big part of getting some of the merch out. Yeah, she just does endless work, like, and asks for very little in return. She just like really enjoys elevating the jiu-jitsu community and helping people that she feels deserve to be helped and generally don't have the knowledge to look after themselves in that way. She's just really informed with those things and is teaching me how to adult.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got a coach that watches, doesn't train, helps you. You got a manager, got pretty set up.
I think that's like, jiu-jitsu's not the super professional sport, but if you can be a professional in the sport, I think it can get you a whole lot further. So, you know, a manager, a dietitian, you know, I work with Geordie from the fight dietitian. He's crazy
Legend,
good. Yeah, he knows everything and he actually does research himself. He actually sits there and reads scientific articles and bases it off actual studies.
I haven't spoken to him for a while because usually it's me and him involved in some fight camps, in some crazy times, and like a lot of respect to that guy because he's dealing with people at their absolute worst, hungriest, most miserable, jet lagged. He's in there not sleeping. Like I've seen him be awake 24 hours preparing food, and I'm just like, oh. I'm always like, what is he getting paid? It's probably not enough.
Yeah, exactly. He's almost too good for his own good. Like he is so good at getting them to the weight that they need to be and so good at making them not feel shit afterwards and actually be able to perform.
Yeah, he does a fucking awesome job. He
sacrifices his own sanity for it.
Yeah, he was working at one stage, Izzy, Volks, Leon Edwards, three champs at once.
Yeah. And then he does like ultra marathons or some shit like that. He's just that high achiever that everybody hates but loves.
He did that one time after one of the boys weighed in. He did like a ultra marathon on a treadmill and almost died.
Yeah.
It was just like, what's wrong with you, bro? Relax. That was crazy.
He's that motivated.
That's
but cool. I think having a team of people, man, I think like, you know, I got a good strength and conditioning team. Like the guys at Bulletproof, you would know.
Oh, yeah, JT.
Yeah, JT, exactly. I work with them and they have everything planned out for me so that I don't need to think about it. I think it's just like having those things ready to go is what saves me a whole bunch of grief.
Now you just need to talk tons of shit on social media. You're set.
Exactly. I just need to know the demographic that I'm going to start attacking.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's what's going to get me paid.
Would you shit talk your opponents ever?
I don't know, dude. Shit talking opponents with females, I think, comes off in the complete wrong way. Guys can shit talk each other. And it's this like manly, masculine thing of like, they're trying to out alpha each other and all that kind of shit. And then chicks do it. Like girls start talking smack and then it's bitchy and it's rude and it's mean. And how dare you start like.
Oh, the chick did it to Fionn, right?
Jasmine,
yeah. But that went viral though.
Yeah, people loved it. But people still to this day will send Jasmine like hate messages. And like Jasmine she just talks. Like she just likes to chat and she knows the game. She understands that if she says shit, people will watch it. I don't think she's actually that like aggressive. I don't think she has all the beliefs that she says out loud, but she knows how to get an audience. But people will still send her hate messages. How dare you say that about this person?
I think you can do it, but you own it afterwards. You know, like if you shit talk and it goes bad, you got to own it or you're going to fucking hear about it.
Dude, I read the comment section of the call out that I made for Fionn at ADCC. And so lights, cameras, everything just won the absolute. I'm not even fucking thinking. I'm not processing anything. So the way that it came out, it just came out in like, I didn't really think about the repercussions of it. And I also did not know that she was in the building either.
Oh, shit, yeah.
She was fucking in the building. And I felt so bad. And I didn't mean for it to come off the way it did. But then Flow Grappling puts it up. And the comment section is just shredding into me being like, she'd fuck you up, like this, that, the other. I'm like, well, I didn't even mean to be rude.
Too, you know, like sometimes like, obviously you've just broken out. So it's kind of like the fan base you have is going to grow and they're going to like adore you more. But like someone like Fionn, she's got the accent, you know, let's have an American audience. She's been successful for a while. They love her.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm lucky with it too. Sometimes like I've lost and my opponents have said something and then people have attacked them and it's just like, if it's the wrong, like Volk's fought Holloway and people love Holloway.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it took a while for them to accept Volk's beating him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but you one thing you'll see is the media, like yes, even Flo will do this where like, you will say this much, but they'll condense it to here for the engagement. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the sound bites. It's those like little like 1 second videos that get all the attention. Oh, you said this about this person. Well, actually, not quite what I said, but whatever. I'm trying to have the mentality of like people are just going to think what they're going to think.
Yeah, it's out of your control.
They're going to have the opinion of whatever they have and fuck it. If they want to hate me, they can hate me. If they want to love me, they can love me. I don't really care.
Yeah, you just have to embrace it either way. But that female match would be sick.
I think it'll be amazing. Like, and that's the thing. I have all the respect in the world for her. I think she's an amazing competitor and has done some amazing things. My call out is not to like discredit her. My call out is like, I want to fight her because I think it'll be a great match and I think it'll be a really interesting match for viewership. And for me, it's the only match that makes sense right now. Like we're both at the top.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't in it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, don't undersell it. You got to lean into it. You know, you're like, what? You want the match. You know, like it's like you got to sell the match too.
It's the only match right now for the females at the top of the chain that makes sense, especially with like Elizabeth Clay out at the moment because she's just had a kid, had a little baby boy, and she was at the top of that run as well. She has had some incredible matches, but now that she's out, like it's 1 and 2 pound for pound. It's the match that makes sense.
But make sure you get paid for it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think we'll give it to any fight promotion that doesn't pay what it's worth.
That's got leverage.
Yeah. I think that it's the match that everybody will watch, especially for the female matches. I think it's the match that'll draw the biggest audience out of any female jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a bigger one. Gabby always sells because it's Gabby. But
maybe that's also the next super fight.
you versus Gabby?
Yeah, me and Gabby.
That'd be sick.
I don't know if I'd have the courage to strip my pants off and have a what do you call it? Not a mankini, a Speedo on underneath.
Yeah. I went to a sex store in Vegas that day and the guy had seen the viral clip of me kissing her. So he I was so excited about it. I was like, watch later, you're going to see this. But that was fucking funny. Yeah, that'd be sick. You versus Gabby would be cool.
That'd be fun.
I wonder, I don't know if she'll be doing any regular jiu-jitsu stuff anymore. Who knows?
Who knows?
I turned the fans back to loving her and now I think she's gone on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, maybe it's like she ends on a good note.
Yeah.
Maybe she just does one a year.
It was good though, because ADCC everyone booed her 2022. They hated her.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I feel bad for her.
I think she just it was either because she was just winning too much or they just needed to find someone to hate.
Everyone needs a villain.
Yeah.
I made ADCC the villain, you know? But it was for a good cause. But yeah, Gabby's out. What about Tayani? She was sick back in the day, right?
Yeah, when was the last time she fought?
She was my backup. Gabby, I thought might get injured. And I was like, yo, who? I'm like, oh, Tayani, that'll be sick.
Yeah.
She had the 4-year ban. I was like, oh, there's a story there. We'll talk about that, you know? I'm like, it seems like a worthy challenger to replace.
Yeah, there's some more bans that got handed out recently.
Oh, yeah, I just saw, was it Philippe Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone else out?
There was another champion as well. I can't, off the top of my head, remember his name, but I think it was only a 3-month ban because it was for THC.
Oh, that's it?
But he got pinned for THC out of competition.
Oh, really?
But they stripped him of his title.
So out of competition testing now? Crazy.
Yeah, but they stripped him of his title and they gave him a 3-month ban.
For THC, they stripped him of the title?
Yeah.
Is that USADA?
I think so. Either USADA or WADA, one of the two. But yeah, and Polaris actually followed through on their...
I saw that, yeah.
Their whole thing was, I think the contracts that they sign is if you're banned from any other big fight promotion on PED.
But I can beat it for them and I openly talk
about it. Yeah, but that's the thing that it's if you get banned, then they're not going to let you fight. But if they don't test you... Yeah,
I openly talk about it. I'm like, they let me go. Sorry for that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's funny though.
Yeah. It's even that in general is just like there's PEDs everywhere.
What percentage of the women, if you had to guess?
Fuck, I hope it's low. I would really hope it's low because for the females versus the males, like what PEDs do to your system, like long term, the repercussions of it are pretty fucked.
Do people accuse you ever?
All the time.
Yeah.
But if you look at photos of me when I was 16 years old, I look almost exactly the same. But of course, I'm going to look like a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger when I'm going into the biggest competition of my life. Like, I get it all the time. But no, Australian athletes, with some exceptions, are pretty clean. Like Levi's clean, Lockie's clean, Liv's clean. Like, we're all clean.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, I used to be like younger and be like, oh, you know who's on, you know who's not on, but fuck, really?
I don't know nowadays.
Yeah,
I really
you don't.
don't. I would hope that the percentage for the females is low.
I think if anything, women might take some Anavar or something,
Yeah.
but to inject would be catastrophic to their bodies.
I think you'd be able to tell pretty quickly too. Like, if they're walking around with a deep voice and a jawline of Chris Hemsworth, then
Then it's on.
they're going to be on something. They're going to be on something a little bit harsh.
I wanted to test for CJI, actually not to punish them, but just
that would be so interesting.
out of curiosity.
Yeah, who would do it?
There were some legalities that would make, there was some like, it was too difficult, too short notice. But it would be, I always had the dream of like showing up to ADCC weigh-ins and being like, surprise, we're at random drug testing.
I would love that so much.
See who freaks out.
So many people get popped for it. Like,
yeah, for ADCC for sure.
What percentage of ADCC athletes do you think are?
So you know what's crazy is I used to think it was more. I think it's like gone down a little. Because like guys like Lachlan Giles, like you can win without it. Like the Rotollas, there's people you believe.
But it's also like there's no contractual obligation, there's no rules around it, so they can do what they want. It's at their discretion.
I just wish people would be transparent about it so that people that try to copy them aren't taking crazy amounts.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a harm reduction sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that balancing act, because as soon as you start telling them what your exact stack is, then they try and do the exact same. You're kind of encouraging it, or like it's a hard balance.
Yeah.
Like, I think transparency is important, just so people don't have the false...
I think you're going to say trend.
No, trend's okay. Yeah, totally. No, like it's so that people don't go in there and go, oh, this person's clean, so, you know, I can do it. Like, just be honest about it at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. And I've got no accomplishments to strip. That's why I can be transparent.
You just got to compete in everything. IBJJF comes second.
Yeah.
Hope that the person that comes first gets stripped. So then you get bumped up.
Move up. Do they test randomly everyone or just still the podium people?
I think it's just the podium people.
Have you ever been tested?
I got tested by Lockie.
Oh,
never by IBJJF, but I got tested by Lockie for the
for his cash thing. Hey.
Yeah. And I happened to be in America at the time, and
what was that?
We still did it in America.
Was that just blood test, urine?
Just a urine sample. Yeah, but it was interesting because he had said, "Oh, people that were using performance-enhancing drugs can't get this money without testing," and then a whole bunch of people applied, and then he said, "Okay, we're testing," and then a whole bunch of people took their...
One guy from Sydney West backed out of the test.
I know, he did, he sure did, and he still owes Lockie some money, I think.
Really?
Well, yeah, because Lockie had to pay for the test, and he just didn't rock up.
I thought about giving out the same amount of money, but you had to fail the test. But then I was like, that's probably too far. Too far. I thought it'd be funny. But that's probably a good way to end, I guess. Yeah. Theon versus Adele, or Gabby, if she's interested.
Or both.
You can have the same bet match I did with Gabby.
Yeah, I was just with the same OnlyFans agreement. Fuck. I think I'd have to bring up how much money was it? How much money was it? Yeah, fuck. There's your soundbite.
I didn't do it with her, but options there, I think.
Yeah. I'd do a lot for $5 million. I don't know if I'd do that for $5 million.
You wouldn't do it?
I don't know. Come with the actual cash.
You'd have to ask the partner.
Yeah, 100%. But the problem is I ask her and she'll be like, yeah, fucking do it. $5 million is $5 million.
I'd do it for a lot less.
You do what you got to do sometimes.
It's true. Yeah. Thank you, Adele.
I appreciate it, man. This is heaps of fun.
Yeah. I'll clip that for sure.
Yeah, how to get cancelled.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a.
Everybody I told was like, don't say something stupid. I was like, yeah, fuck. Too late.
Yeah, don't get in trouble, eh?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the El Segundo podcast. Don't forget, Fat Cry Jones.